Behind the Buzz, and we're here with another Behind the Buzz interview session. Today I have the pleasure of interviewing the DMV's very own
Kennece The Menace. Ooh,
Okay.
that's good.
Let's get a temp check. How you feeling today?
I feel great, it was a long drive here, but being in this space and around these creative people makes you feel right at home, so I'm feeling great right now.
That's good.
Yep.
So now I know everybody has probably asked this question, but Behind the Buzz viewers need to know. What inspired the name Kennece The Menace?
So, I'm gonna keep it real. I didn't come up with that name. When I was in high school, I had a homie, and we've always done music together. And one day he just called me Kennece The Menace. It was just really out of nowhere, and it just stuck with me forever. And I was like, oh yeah, that's hard. That's the name right there. Because before then, I don't think I really had a name. You know what I mean? Even though we weren't that serious into it at first, he came up with the name, and I stuck with it ever since. And I was like, that goes so crazy. So.
Okay, so it rhymed, and you got it because it rhymed, not because you're a menace out here in these streets. You good? Are you a menace?
In my music, I am.
Oh.
I'll put it to you like that. Musically, yeah. Outside of that, try to stay to myself out the way. You know what I mean? But music just brings that menace persona out of me. You know what I mean?
I feel that.
Yeah.
So I'd like to know what made you pursue music.
I've always had an interest in music. It's funny, I started out as a dancer. I thought that's what I was going to do in my life, be a performing dancer at the Kennedy Center and all this other stuff. But as time grew on, my same friend, his name is Lee, we just was best friends, and he had an interest in music, started hanging out with him more. I'm like, oh man, like this boy can rap, he can do this, do that. I want to do that too, because I like rap music, you know what I mean? So, being around him a lot of times, that's what we would do. And eventually, after high school came, I went to college for dancing for a little bit, and then I just decided somewhere, I was like, hey, I don't want to do this for real no more, I want to do music, music's cool. And so I dropped all of that, did music, and I've been doing it ever since, and that's been since 2016 where I really just decided to start taking music as a serious thing. So yeah.
Okay, so before I ask when did you drop your first song, I want to know what kind of dance you did. What kind of dancer were you?
Oh, so I grew up on You Got Served, so I was doing it for Lil Saint for a little bit. And then, from that, I started battling little people on the streets, not doing that little thing. It wasn't no crazy like street dance battling thing, but a couple 4 or 5 people show up, I just battle it out. And eventually I went to high school for it. It was a school of the arts, and I took it up seriously, and they taught me ballet, jazz, modern, things to help me add to my artistry. So I really can do all types, but ironically, my favorite type of dance is probably tap, because that's something that I never could really get the hang of, but I always enjoyed watching it, because it's like, how the fuck are y'all niggas doing this shit? Like, that's crazy. So, yeah, I do all types of dance,
That's
and
amazing.
yeah, I haven't done any dance classes recently, but it's still in my bones. That type of stuff is just in your
So you're going to break it down for us?
I didn't say all that, but
Okay.
yeah. On the stage, if y'all see me, I might do that.
And back to music. When did you drop your first song?
I dropped my first song it had to be 2016. I want to say it was 2016. It was a collab song called Swim with my man Lee. We were rapping. And I barely even remember how the song goes. I just remember that sonically it was really bad, but it was it was the start of something beautiful. So that outweighed the bad for real, and we just kept the ball rolling ever since.
So, as an artist in the DMV's underground scene, what do you believe separates you from your peers?
I think what separates me mostly is I'm just a lover of music in general, like. All types of, I do rap, but I like all types of different rap music, whether it be something lyrical that's really talking about something, or just not talking about nothing at all. I could really listen to Kendrick Lamar 1 second, and then the next song be Ice Spice, and I'll be it's cool. I really enjoy rap music. And I take those influences and I try to direct that into my music. Like, hey, this is what this song is. This is the purpose of this song. I'm trying to say something. This is the purpose of this song. I'm not saying anything. It's just for the vibe. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people force themselves to become one-dimensional, and I think that can, cut off your creative flow and your artistry, and I don't want that to happen to me. I want to remain open, remain focused, even things outside of rap music, you know what I mean, other genres, or things that don't have to do with music at all. I just try to keep an open mind and be inspired by everything I possibly can. So I feel like that's what separates me.
That's definitely true artistry.
Yeah.
So yeah, can you share a little bit of your process of what it takes to make a Kennece The Menace original?
Oh, like an original song?
An original.
I'm very beat driven. Like I can sit and listen to beats for 24 hours, and it's really is just about finding that flow. I won't even say nothing for a long time. I'll just be like, dun, 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 and then the words just come later. Once I find, the cadence that I want to do, the flow, the words follow right after. So I feel like I'm very beat driven, and then there's the lyrics, and then I feel like the hardest part is the hook. That thing that's just gonna grab everybody and like make everybody remember the song. And that's usually the last step for me. And go in the studio. Also, I don't write my music down. I keep everything in my head. I'm such a, busy person. I don't have time to really sit down and on my phone or a paper. Like I'm walking around and I'm just repeating lyrics, repeating it until it's like ingrained in my mind. That way, when I go to shows, I don't have to spend time trying to memorize my lyrics. I can just go out there and focus on the performance aspect of it and just rock it out. So that really is the process,
That's amazing, because my next question definitely was whether or not you write your music. So apparently it comes off the dome, and then you repeat it, and then you repeat it and repeat it and repeat it until you got it.
Yep.
After listening to your catalog, I was blown away by your versatility. Some of my favorites that I heard were Surreal, Big Bag, and your January 2023 drop, 750.
Yeah.
Those are my top 3.
Yeah.
So if you could name your top 5, what would your lineup be out of your music?
Oh, out of songs that are out now, I'm not gonna lie, I love 750. I think that's the latest song I dropped. I really went in there and I felt like I did that. Like when I recorded it, it was just so much energy. Like I felt like it was veins popping out of my forehead, and I was really like what did they say on the internet? Spitting like you got to pay rent or something like that. That's really what I felt like recording that song. You know what I mean? Great song. So 750 is probably one. I like Now Smoke a lot. Very vibey song is very different from 750. It's calm and relaxed, something you could just spark up to. And then 3, I would say Nonfiction, because that features one of my favorite artists, Mick Jenkins. I don't know if anybody's familiar. Always has been one of my favorites, and that happened in 2019, and that's just something I'm proud of. When people, look through my catalog and they're like, wait a minute, you got a song with Mick Jenkins? I'm like, yeah, I do. It's a real proud feeling, because I truly am so inspired by him, and to have him a part of my catalog really means something to me. So that song's cool. Number 4 and 5, it gets tricky. I would say 23 freestyle, because that really is just straight rap all the way through, and that's what I'm bought on. That's what I'm brought up on. Just straight rap and just straight bars. So that will always hold dear to my heart. And the breath control, and that breath control throughout all the songs, I feel like is very important, especially when you performing live. If you could really, get that under control, like if you could practice that every day, it's gonna work out. Like when you go to shows and whatnot, you'll barely struggle. You know what I'm saying? So, and number five. Geronimo. I like Geronimo. Ironically, I dropped that song a week before I did an opening show. I opened for Lord Durk, and it was a great time, but it was also a stressful time, because there were people around me, you know, from where I live, they kind of caught wind, and they're like, oh, you're opening for Dirk, you must have made it, or something like that. People that never paid attention to me before, like ever. And so that was inside at the time, it didn't sit right with me. It made me kind of angry, and Geronimo was kind of like what I took that anger out on, you know. The menace came out of me in Geronimo. So that's what I remember that song for, and I remember what I felt like in the studio, and it's like, man, this is a great way to take out anger rather than, you know, to go out and do something that's unproductive. So, yeah, that's my top 5 right there. That was long. I'm
that's
sorry.
No, you're
my bad.
So, I want to know, who are these favorites that inspired you to get the sound that you currently have?
I probably had to attest that to Kendrick Lamar. He really, in high school, I think that's when I first got hip, and I was amazed. And I think it was by the time he dropped that Control verse, I was just like, all right, okay. He ain't even called me out, but let me step my game up real fast, you know what I'm saying? Let me get there, and maybe even over and beyond. I've always watched his performances, and like I said earlier, just seeing how he would just be on the mic and not take breaths. I love that. Like, I love that so much. It was just so natural and just so much energy. So probably him. If I can name other artists, I really like Tyler, the Creator. He's one of my favorites very much. I mentioned Mick Jenkins earlier. There's just so many. There's so many. Rest in peace, Mac Miller. I love Mac Miller. I like Jid. You know what I mean? Oh, I have so many favorites. This is bad. And I really like, I've really come to listen to a lot of older artists, but Missy, she's a great artist. I remember when I was little, and that song Lose Control would always come out, and I was just so attracted to that beat. I'm like, oh, this is just so good. Everything about this is amazing. Like, you play this in the club, there's not gonna be nobody that's not like at least bobbing their head. Like, this is just nuts.
So, does your writing process differ for music that gets the crowd jumping and the music that's more lyrical?
Yes, I have a song called Underwater, and that's when I get like deep into my bag and my feelings, and you know, I have to go to a really dark place physically. Like, I have to be somewhere where I could be secluded and away from everything, and usually that's outside, like in the woods. Like, I really have to spend some time in nature and allow nature to pull these emotions and words out of me. And it's kind of hard to explain, but I know it when I do it. So as opposed to doing, you know, more hype music, I feel like that's way easier, because for me, life is just always, you know what I mean? And there's a sort of rhythm to that type of lifestyle. So if I'm living in that rhythm, it's way easier for me to make more, you know, hype music. I can do that more, but like, you know, for deeper cuts, I really have to like go somewhere else. I really wish I could just hop on a plane and just go to some just far away ranch or something. Like, that's what I really want to do in the future, because that's when the best music is going to come out, I feel like. But yeah, there's definitely a difference in the process.
So do you see yourself pursuing a lifelong career in music? No longer dance?
I think so. I think my narrative on that has changed for sure. I knew that when I was younger, I always wanted to be like famous and whatnot, you know, like be on big stages. But as I grow older, I feel like the actual goal is to be happy with the art that I'm creating, to be proud of it, and to unconditionally love it, because once you do that, then everybody else will. So I've been more hyper focused on that than I am like, oh, gotta get big, gotta get famous, gotta put this on and put this on the playlist. It's like, I really want to focus on the artistry more. Like, even though I feel like I'm pretty good at music, I always feel like there's room for improvement. There always is something that I can do better. And that's what I've been focusing on mainly this year. That's only going to drop one song this year, because I want my music to be like crisp and precise. Like, I just don't want to miss a beat.
Oh, are you one of these artists that just be holding out on the masses? Like, you have a whole bunch of songs and you just not dropping them?
Yes.
Jesus.
Yes. Yes, I do that a lot. And it's funny because the songs will be fine. It'll just be like one thing that I'm like, oh, that can't come out because of this one thing. You know what I mean? I've kind of molded myself into a perfectionist a little bit because wasn't always like that. Like before, I would just drop music. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. And I'm not that. It's not perfect, good enough person anymore. You know, I've grown from that. So with that, I've been dropping less music, but I don't think it'll be that way forever. I think this is like the beginning stages of that. This is like that mind turn thing. Like, whoa, this is how I want to do things now. So, you know, going forward, this is going to be the process. So
if you could describe yourself as an artist in 3 words, what would they be?
In 3 words?
Yes.
Oh.
It can be 3 different words or a 3-word phrase.
Oh. I always say something in my music. It's funny. It's mind over matter. Okay. Mind over matter. That's probably what I would describe my artistry as. You know what I mean? The mind is such a underrated thing, I think, honestly, because if you could really unlock your mind, you know, and use it to its fullest potential and not just use that inch right there, it's just like, I feel like you can do anything, like any freaking thing like this.
So is it that or life in general that drives your creativity? What drives your creativity?
Oh, I think life definitely plays a part because, as everybody says, life be life, and man, and we all go through our own experiences. And I think from those experiences, rather than falling to things like, you know, from like depression and stuff like that, sometimes it's inevitable. But the minute I feel like I'm sinking, I just feel like I need to create. I need to do something because I don't want to be here. You know what I mean? This will not only help me, but this may help somebody that could be going through the same thing, you know, or something similar. So yeah, definitely life experiences. Yeah. Probably right.
All right. Speaking of creativity, what would you say is the inspiration behind the under-eye face paint in some of your photos? Yeah.
Wow. Good question. As a kid, I watched WWE a lot. And it was people that would come out with like face paints and whatnot. Like, for instance, there was a wrestler named Sting back in the day. He had the white and the black. You know, that shit was tight to me. I was like, oh, that's hard. You know, I want to translate that into rap. And so I did. And really the symbolism behind it was like 50-50. It was like 50 wrestling and the other 50, it was a mark of, you know, it was kind of an emotional mark. It's supposed to be like a teardrop, but like, you know, a teardrop that doesn't fall off your face. It's just like permanent. It's there. And that represents a breakup that I went through in 2018 and how much that really affected me. And I think around that time, that's when the Kennece The Menace persona really started to come alive, because even though I was a menace, sometimes I was really somebody that was like emotional as well. You know what I mean? So I put that mark on my face. I would always do it when I did photo shoots and video shoots and, you know, performing live to not only remind myself, but other people that, hey, even though I do this shit, I'm still a human and I go through things as well, just like you. And, you know, in later years, I kind of shied away from it because it's like, I don't always want to wear this sadness on my face. You know what I mean? You know, I kind of want to get away from that a little bit. And not to say I won't ever wear it again, because at this point, it just feels iconic to my artistry. But 2023, well, almost 2024 going forward, I really want to, you know, get away from the eye thing. Just look at it as an era, you know what I'm saying? So, cool era, though. I don't regret anything about it, because a lot of great music and a lot of lessons learned came out of that. So, but aesthetically, it was cool. I liked it, you know, very, very, very cool time. And I think I'm going to be on to more cool things later down the path.
Do you have anything exciting for your listeners to look forward to as we enter the new year?
I think so. I think I'm going to finally get some of these singles out the vault, you know. maybe even put a little project together. Not maybe, definitely. I feel like I definitely want to, I have some things to say. I've been through some things. Feel like my artistry has advanced. Feel like I'm making better songs than I was before. And, you know, I feel like the people that listen to me, quite honestly, deserve a project. It's been a while. It's been, I think I dropped 2021. I Don't Know What Anything Is, that EP. That was January 2021. So they deserve something 3 years later, you know, something special. So just keep,
give us music.
just you know, bear with me. It's coming. It's coming sooner than y'all probably think. So yeah.
Do you have anything that you would like to tell the people before we wrap things up? And where can we find you on social media?
On social media, let's start there. You can find me at Kennece, KENNECE .menace. That's on Instagram. That's basically where I spend most of my time. And then, of course, Kennece The Menace on Spotify, Apple, SoundCloud, YouTube, whatever you use. And as far as anything, you know, anything left to say, I just want to say something to all the artists out there. Like I said earlier, we all go through things, but I feel like it's so important to never lose the creative side of us. You know, I feel like we are superheroes of the world. You know, we keep the world in balance. We keep the world in check. What is the world without art? Please don't stop doing your thing. You know, shit happens, but don't let anybody ever tell you, oh, you shouldn't be doing that. You should be more focused on this thing. And it's like, why can't you do both? You know, don't ever let anybody belittle you or your art. Keep doing your fucking thing and it's going to work for you. So that's all I had.
Okay. That was great. That was great. So yeah, that's a wrap for this episode of Behind the Buzzers DC session with Kennece The Menace.
Peace, love, and chicken grease, y'all. Be safe.
Yeah.